Your Denver Broncos just get some sneaky great news as they prepare for division rivals Los Angeles Chargers, who are sitting at the top of the AFC West. In this video, we break down why Sean Payton is as calm as a cucumber. It's because he figured this whole thing out. We also get fantastic news in the rest of the AFC West. We've got all that to break down and more. If you're new to the channel, I'm almost at 28,000 subs. Mind blowing. It helps me in the algorithm out a ton if you like the Broncos, if you would like and subscribe. So Sean Payton, when he figures things out, he is unstoppable. He is the NFL's winningest coach in the month of October, and that's because after those 4 games, it clicks. He knows exactly what he has on offense and defense and schemes correct, right? So Sean Payton, over these past couple days, I expected him to bite the heads off reporters. I expected him to be snippy, grumpy Sean because that was a gut-wrenching loss, and yet every single podcast I've listened to has talked about how surprised everyone was that Sean Payton is so calm, and he is so calm because he knows he has this thing figured out. Over the course of 2 weeks, we've seen that we have elite defense and elite offense, and it just hasn't happened yet together. Let's talk first about this offense and just like why is Sean Payton calm and almost like happy after a gut-wrenching loss? It's because Bo Nix proved that he's not going to have a sophomore slump. He can adjust to how teams are playing him, and he can come out there and ball out of control. Just taking a look at the similarities between Drew Brees and Sean Payton through 10 games and Bo Nix and Sean Payton through 10 games, you could arguably say that Bo Nix is playing better. He has more touchdowns, less interceptions, and the same number of wins here. And then he does not have quite as many yards as Drew Brees did, but like that is fantastic. It gets even better that this week we just played in one of the most raucous stadiums I've ever been in my life. Couldn't even hear my dad sitting right next to me in that game. So that is a very, very tough place to go out and play offensively because you can't hear anything. And yet, your Denver Broncos were the second highest graded offense in the entire NFL last week. The Lions got to play at home. Like, obviously, the Cowboys playing a rivalry game there, but Sean Payton sees that he has what it takes on the offensive side of the ball. We're seeing just more things. Like, we really gushed up this offensive line and had high hopes from them. They're doing exactly what we expected them to do. We had heard they were a top 3 offensive line. They look to be that. Seeing that Bo Nix was really here. His pressure rate, one of the lowest in the NFL. And it goes further here just to see EPA per dropback, just seeing the Denver Broncos here in a perfect place. That's exactly what you want to be, so that Sean Payton's passing grade and what he's getting out of Bo Nix is exactly what he needs here. Then just seeing here that jump that we all expected and that Sean Payton called in the offseason when he told Kay Adams he feels way more confident in our wide receiver room than the rest of the NFL did. This is exactly why. And you see a breakout game, a breakout party truly for Troy Franklin, and just seeing that, like, hey, Sean Payton knows he's got a wide receiver too now. He knows what he has in Courtland Sutton. He's seen it now for 2 seasons. This thing is starting to click, and it reminds me of just when a boxer might be down in the fight, but they see their opponent wobble, and they know that, like, hey, if the game ended now, I would lose this fight, but this guy's about to drop. Sean Payton knows that he has this thing figured out when it comes to the offense. When it comes to like a team chemistry standpoint, this team has not bailed on anyone. You see after a rough first game from Bo Nix, you see Hufanga wearing a Bo Nix t-shirt to his post-game press conference. We see Dre Greenlaw bummed that he can't play, and yet he's on the field celebrating after week 1 victory with Hufanga and taking selfies. Seeing that, like, even when things are tight and Courtland Sutton is not getting the ball, still see him out here as a very, very willing blocker here, getting J.K. Dobbins into the end zone for that rushing touchdown. So Sean Payton is calm, even though there's this entire storm brewing around him, because he knows that this offense has the pieces that it needs to make deep runs in the month of January and really be playing until February. Just seeing that how often last year we just saw our running back room could not get going, and so we had to bail on it. Bo Nix threw the perfect amount of passes in this game. That's exactly what you want to see because our running game really got going, and just seeing J.K. Dobbins staying healthy, still averaging that yards per carry that we had hoped he would going into this season, that he had 85 yards last game and then 68 the week before. Sean Payton has this thing figured out, and we can be very, very confident. Then on the other side of the ball, I think the Indianapolis Colts offense is way better than anyone gives it credit for, and it wasn't until my talk with Derek that I truly started to freak out a little bit about playing them, because Daniel Jones, everything that they said about him in the pre-draft process was true. He was an inept organization and left it, and now he is thriving. That offensive line is dirty. They have great big-bodied wide receivers, and they have an elite tight end. So even though we played a very, very tough offense last week in the Indianapolis Colts, you are still seeing the Denver Broncos just exactly where you want them to be when it comes to defense here, that we're getting pressure here. Just seeing that, again, you're everywhere that you want to be here, that our defense is getting pressure, and we are not like the average defensive EPA per play, 0.01, which is just a fantastic place to be. And that seeing the guy that we made a gamble on, and we said, hey, our gamble is that Nick Bonitto is going to keep getting better, so we should pay him now. That gamble is paying off in spades. This is crazy here. That Nick Bonitto has more pressures this season than 3 other teams in the NFL. The Carolina Panthers, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Chicago Bears all would love just to have one Nick Bonitto. Now add to that Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, John Franklin-Meyer, Jonah Ellis, Dondre Tillman, and like the Denver Broncos defense, you guys, it is going to be okay. I think that what we're going to see moving forward here is that our defense will play more like it did last week, and that our offense will play more like it did this week. And obviously there will be times where our offense is going to have to win us games and times our defense is going to win us games, but Sean Payton is not concerned, even though he was the one who was hyping up the fan base. He's the one who said Bo Nix is a top 5 quarterback, and he looked at last week. He's the one who said this Broncos team is going to make a deep run in the playoffs, and we're shooting for the Super Bowl. He hyped it up, and he isn't feeling that pressure because he knows that it's ringing true here. Just seeing that his pass rush win rate, even last week, even though he did not get home to Daniel Jones, just seeing that 33% of the time that Nick Bonitto makes a rush on the quarterback, he wins it. So this week, Justin Herbert, watch out, because Nick Bonitto's pinning his ears back, and he is coming for you because we've not seen a ton out of that Los Angeles Chargers running game, which we're going to break down all week. Other sneaky great news, we're not celebrating injuries or glorifying them or showing them on the screen here, but we have to just talk about why Sean Payton confident right now. It's because next week after we play the Chargers, we got to play the Bengals. That's a much easier game knowing that Joe Burrow is out, obviously, for the next 3 months. There's also bigger implications here that what we're seeing is that we have both the Houston Texans, the Kansas City Chiefs, and now the Bengals with Joe Burrow being out. Those were all playoff teams who we were vying for winning the division with the Chiefs, that we were vying for that wild card spot, all of that kind of thing. I think that this year a wild card team in the AFC can get in at 9-8 when you have the Chiefs and the Houston Texans both starting at 0-2. Only 11% of teams who start 0-2 actually end up making the playoffs, which is not the place you want to be if you're the Chiefs or the Houston Texans. But then on top of that, if only 11% of them make the playoffs at all, I'm guessing it's probably closer to like 4% of them actually go on to win the division. So the Chiefs are not going to win the AFC West. Sean Payton is confident because the Broncos are still in the mix for that. Other great news here is just seeing that the Raiders kind of scared me a little bit, seeing what they did against the Patriots that week 1, and then seeing them last night. I'm no longer scared of the Vegas Raiders, just seeing Geno Smith going back to really why I think multiple teams have moved on from him. Just 3 horrendous interceptions in that game, and just, threw 12 pass attempts over 10 yards and did not have any of those completed. And so Geno Smith coming up against our defense is going to have zero luck whatsoever. Broncos also have this really big advantage that they got home at a decent time on Sunday evening. The Chargers last night were playing until almost midnight and then had to fly back from Vegas to LA. So the Broncos get a little bit of a rest advantage, giving Dre Greenlaw hopefully some more time to rest. Obviously, Patrick Surtain and all of that as well. And again, not to glorify it, but the Broncos get to play against the Chargers next week with probably without their best edge rusher. We know they already moved on from Poona Ford, their highest rated defensive player last season, and now they also moved on from Bosa, who's doing really well with the Buffalo Bills. They really had all of their eggs in the Khalil Mack basket, and he had a pretty gruesome injury last night. And so your Denver Broncos get a rest advantage, play a team now that has lost a starting right tackle in Slater, and then also lost their starting edge rusher in Khalil Mack. So this is all shaping up perfectly for your Denver Broncos, and don't take my word for it. Take the confidence that Sean Payton is channeling when the rest of Broncos country is starting to panic looking at these upcoming weeks. Like, whoa, we got to play the Bengals, we got to play the Eagles, we got to go to Europe and play a game. And Sean Payton has this confidence to him because he knows this team has what it needs. It has figured it out. And Broncos country, we got so much to believe in. Oh, that almost was my first shot with a football. Come on, I'll get it by Sunday.